There's this poem or kavita by रामधीर सिंह दिनकर, प्रसादों के कनकाब शिखर होते कबूतरों के ही घर, महलों में गरुड़ न होता है, कंचन पर कभी न सोता है, रहता वे मस्त पहाड़ों में, शैलों की खुली दरारों में. What it means is that Garud is found in wilderness, while pigeons are found in palaces. And I genuinely feel that marketing is Garud versus a kabutar. Marketing is that free spirited wild organism which every organization should nurture. And in my mind, the freedom on marketing or the independent marketing mind has three perspectives. It's about being bold in terms of asking questions. It's a function which should not be regimented under hierarchies. Everybody in the marketing team should ask questions, dumb questions, as many questions to anybody, including the CEO of the company, because I've realized that if you don't ask the right questions, you're solving the wrong problems. And a lot of creative bandwidth and our partner bandwidth goes on half-cooked briefs. So ask questions. So that's one, boldness and freedom. The second is be free from constraints. And one of the most constraints that a lot of people talk about, including me, my team, is around budgets. And I don't think ideas come with a price tag that this idea is $5 and this idea is $500. I think ideas are ideas. Good ideas would find resonance within the organization, and you will find funding. And we've seen big budget movies flop and big canvas ideas not take shape. So essentially, the freedom to think without the constraint that you have in the organization. And the third bit is freedom from judgment, freedom from judgment on KPIs. I think it's very good to track progress from KPI, but sometimes the KPIs also people become obsessed with KPIs. And that's not a good thing if you're a marketer. We don't know how marketing works, to be honest. It's not an exact science. The attribution models, all of them that I've seen, have some lacuna here and there. And hence, it's very important for marketing to ask as many questions as possible, think unconstrained, and do not get obsessed with the KPIs in their goal sheet. Think about important and interesting stories that needs to be told from a brand standpoint. There's this quote by Robert Frost, which says that freedom lies in being bold. And it's a soft skill. It cannot be developed through classroom coachings and doing courses online. So there are three things that I've learned to do over a period of time with my team. The first one is be blunt, because if you're too nice, touchy-goody to each other, you will not put out what's getting missed. And like I said, Garud comes from hard places. So you have to ask hard questions, not be afraid to ask hard questions. So be blunt. And it works both ways. You have to be blunt with me. If I'm bullshitting, call it out. If you're bullshitting, I'll call it out. So be blunt. That's one grounding that we definitely do. The second thing is that the independent thinking comes from an area of understanding consumers. If you do not understand consumer, your independent thinking will not be beneficial to the organization. So do enough consumer work, spend enough time in the market before you start in the journey of independent thinking. It is only beneficial to the organization if it is coming from some fundamental grounding of the business, of the product, of a consumer. Else it's whimsical thinking, and that doesn't help. Third is before we discuss how, what needs to be done, why it needs to be done, and if we don't do that, what happens to the organization or the brand. I think we get into how too soon, and that chokes up the marketing bandwidth. There are a lot of stakeholders within any organization who wants marketing's help. And it is important, like I said, questioning is very important. So ask what should be done, why should it be done, and assuming I'm not going to do it, what impact will it have? These are three things that we try and inculcate amongst ourselves. It's important to lead by example. So all the senior leaders in the marketing team essentially are pushed, coached, forced to be blunt before discussing how, ask three questions, and more importantly, get your bearing right. Otherwise, that independent thinking is going to take us to a train wreck. The strength of marketing function is that it gets the headlight view and it also gets the rear mirror view. Headlight view is that marketing, it is expected to be close to the consumer. It has access to best research agencies in the world, not just the country. It has got access to a lot of other partners. It is expected to inform the organization what are the trends that are coming up, what are the things that competition is doing. So that's the headlight view. And the rear view, mirror view, is that because it is close to the consumer, it can also inform the management what is not working. Many a times we all take decisions which is in the interest of the business. It could be a cost-cutting initiative, it could be any other initiative, because marketing has access to social media listening tools. Marketing is expected to go and meet the consumer. If there is a decision by the company which is not working for the consumer, marketing is expected to inform the management that, we've done this, but consumers are not happy. And we may lose out on them. We may not be able to be with them for a very long period of time. And this is a threat for us. So that's the strength of marketing. It gives a headlight view and it gives a rear view, mirror view. The weakness of an independent thinking marketing function could be that it creates silos. You're so independent in your thinking that you're completely unhinged by what's happening in the company, right? You can be just in your zone. The second weakness of this could be that you miss sponsorship. And when I say sponsorship, I don't mean monetary sponsorship, but I mean that if you have a program, you would want the head of sales, the head of servicing, the CEO of the company to be shouting about it, talking about it, trying to get it into as many hearts as possible within the organization while you're trying to get this in the hearts and minds of the consumer outside the organization. So it could lead to silos. It could lead to lack of sponsorship. Opportunity is that a strong independent marketing team could actually make your brand very distinct. It could be very bold. It could take on challenges which are deemed risky. And we all know that some of these things, if they work, they change the course of the entire organization. And organizations which are distinct, organizations which are more consumer endearing, are organizations which are also profitable. There is enough analytics and case studies available which tells that brands which are more loved are brands which are more trustworthy and more profitable in the long run. The threat is, if you don't do this, marketing can be outsourced. I mean, there's enough and more conversation around things that could be done by a machine, it could be automated, etc., etc. But if you're not building your independent thinking, if you're not driving things that will take the organization forward, it's a function that will die a natural death.